Almost without knowing what I was doing, I began to drift closer and closer to the mirror. I found myself imagining his face as that of a real, living man, and felt a deep need to reach out and touch solid flesh. I began to explore the surface of the mirror with restless, caressing fingers. All these months I have heard his voice in my sleep, and woken with my hands reaching out hopelessly into the darkness. Again and again he had passed through my restless dreams like a winged shadow, and though I have clutched with desperation at his fleeting image, I have never been able to see his face. Now, I had the crazy sensation that this pane of glass was all that separated us, and in a foolish, off-guarded moment, I confided my desperate wish to see him. I begged him to appear here in this very room, just as the angel Gabriel once appeared to the Holy Virgin. His anger was swift and terrible. It seemed to leap at me through the mirror like an electrical shock, and make me recoil with bewildered pain. "It is enough that you see me." Hard and cold as hail, his voice was abruptly back inside my head. "I tire of your mortal greed. Remember that what has been granted to you can also be withdrawn." And then he was gone. He came to stand behind me, and something about his taut silence made me suddenly very uneasy. I sensed that he was afraid of my refusal, so no doubt whatever it was he wanted was going to be very expensive. "May I have anything I want?" he asked uncertainly. "Within reason." "May I have 2 of them?" "Why should you need 2?" I inquired warily. "So that I can save one for when the other is used up." I began to relax. This didn't sound very alarming. Nothing more extravagant than a ream of good quality paper by the sound of it. Or perhaps a box of sweets. "What is it you want?" I demanded with sudden confidence. Silence. I watched him playing with the napkins. "Eric, I've had quite enough of this silly game now. If you don't tell me what you want straight away, you will have nothing at all." He jumped at the sharpness of my tone, and began to twist a napkin between his thin fingers. I want to—" He stopped and put his hand on the table as though to steady himself. "For God's sake," I snapped. "To what?" He looked up at me. "Kisses," he whispered tremulously. "One now, and one to save." I stared at him in horror, and without any warning burst into uncontrollable tears and sank down at the table. "You must not ask that," I sobbed. "You must never, never ask that again. Do you understand me? Eric, never!" He shrank away from my noisy grief and horror, and backed away to the door.